What is the most bizarre reason a customer got angry with you? Welcome to Reddit Rewind. I was working at McDonald's. A customer complained that there was not a tomato on her Big Mac. I explained to her that Big Macs do not come with tomatoes unless special ordered. She then proceeded to sing the Big Mac song to me in front of a lobby full of customers, adding the word tomato into the song lyrics in an attempt to prove her point. After I handed him his coffee, instead of saying thank you to him, I told him to have a nice day. He sent an email to the corporate and my manager telling them I was rude to him because I didn't follow a company standard. I was a department manager in a health and amp beauty section next to the pharmacy of a grocery store. A guy came in and asked for an antifungal called miconazole that the doctor suggested for an infection on his face. Now, as some of you may know, miconazole is very commonly used for yeast infections in the vagina, so it is sold by the feminine hygiene products, pads, tampons, etc. I took him over there, pointed out the miconazole, and showed him that we carried a generic store brand as a cheaper alternative. Dude was absolutely pissed off that I suggested he put pussy cream on his face and demanded to speak to a manager. I told him that I was the department manager, and he argued saying there's no way a chick is in charge of men, and left. Or so I thought. Apparently, he had wandered the department and found the nearest male employee, who then brought the customer to his manager, me, when he had no idea where or what miconazole was. The customer refused again to listen to me, so I told the stalker to bring him to the pharmacist, also a woman LMAO, to discuss his needs. Next thing I heard was him screaming at the pharmacist, demanding to talk to someone who knew what they were talking about. He was asked to leave, and eventually security was called to escort him out when he continued to rant and rave about women who know nothing about his medical needs. I had a customer storm upstairs to customer services to make a complaint because we'd moved menswear upstairs and he couldn't get upstairs because of his knees. So he went upstairs. About all I could do was call the support desk and apologize for what they were about to receive. We had an elevator, but he was also claustrophobic apparently. My first job was in the produce department of a local grocery store. One morning, a middle-aged woman came in and asked me if we have any organic pears in the back room because the ones up front didn't look great. I explained to her we would be getting our shipment in the following morning, and she could come back then to pick some organic ones up, or we have regular pears available in the next row. She did not like this. Aside from getting yelled at, she requested to speak with my manager, who also had to get an earful of complaints. This isn't anything super out of the ordinary, and I was kind of used to the occasional upset customer. What killed me though is as she is about to walk away, she turns and says, "I'll be back tomorrow to get the pears. I don't know what my bird is going to eat today though. He has to eat organic." Got yelled at for saying "no problem" instead of "you're welcome." I was working at a coffee and wine bar when I had a man scream at me because he ordered the regular and I didn't know what he wanted. It was my first time meeting him, which, catastrophically, aligned with the first time I was left to take care of the register alone. I couldn't get away from the yelling, "Where the hell do you think you're going?" in order to ask the people in the back what he wanted. His regular got written out, laminated, and pinned to the cash register after that. He kept screaming, "Do you know who I am?" over and over, which, no sir, I do not know who you are. This is the first time we met. Also, it turns out he was no one but a dick. This lady at Walmart once got really pissed off at me because we didn't sell pasteurized eggs. And this wasn't the loud, screaming kind of pissed off. She just looked at me very intensely and spoke at low volume, over-enunciating every syllable, and said, "Tell your managers to order pasteurized eggs." They noticed I had an accent. I'm from Southern Virginia and North Carolina area, and pointed it out as Russian. I don't know how they possibly thought my accent was Russian, but I corrected them, and they got angry that I was being condescending to them. Because I didn't open up the shop an hour before opening time, because he was here now, so open the store. He kept banging on the door, and then threw a metal bucket at my head. Good times. I used to deliver pizza, I had someone get irate and refuse the delivery because they'd ordered it to be delivered at 7 p.m. and I got there at 6:55. I applied another discount to the total instead of the promoted discount to save her more money. Had to get into an argument with her just to explain I'm trying to save her more money. She wasn't having it. Pay more money, I don't fucking care anymore. I worked at a Burger King in high school. A guy comes in one day complaining he put in money to get a newspaper in the machine outside, and it wasn't this Sunday's paper. He wanted a refund. I told him we didn't own that machine and we weren't able to give him his money back. I also mentioned to him it was actually Saturday, not Sunday. He flew into a rage, threw last week's Sunday edition of the paper all around the restaurant and behind the counter. My manager comes out and threatens to call the cops. Dude leaves screaming about how we ripped him off. Sometimes you can't fix stupid. I'm a flight attendant, and once a passenger got mad at me when I answered her question of how long the flight would take. Apparently 4 hours to go across the country was not satisfactory. Okay then. Not a whole lot I can do about flight time. She was so upset she then refused to order a beverage from me. Yup, you sure showed me, lady. Not me, but a doctor at a vet practice I worked at. The client didn't like that one of our doctors, a recent graduate, was young. Specifically, she said, "I don't like people half my age acting like they know more than me." It was so confusing. Ma'am, she does know more than you. She's a doctor. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.